Greetings. This is your elder brother, Brother Black Light. I'm that brother like no other. Bring you the kind of flavor that will save you and the kind of knowledge that you won't learn in college. Truth should be told and not sold. Truth is something that really shouldn't be commercialized. Truth should be sold and not told. I like to say this though. I just found out how to work the chat. It just popped up on the screen as I was trying to adjust my title. And the first time I ever seen it say, open up the chat room. So I did it. But in doing so, a lot of you say, well, you might have a lot of questions. I would prefer for you to, if you have any questions, to get my email and I answer you like that. And subscribe. But I don't like to interrupt my flow to brothers and sisters that are very argumentative. And if you don't like what I'm saying or like how I'm saying it, you don't have to watch it. I put not for kids. I checked off not for kids. A lot of you might not want your children to hear. Not that I'm going to be having a whole lot of profanity in my dialogue, but you might not want them to hear the truth. And if you're thinking a lie, if you think what I'm saying is a lie, you might not want them to hear what you think is a lie. So don't have them watch it. It's at their own discretion or your discretion, being a minor and you the parent. And I don't like to argue with people that have no knowledge. In today's world, people don't even know geographic locations. People don't know the origin of words or the meaning, definition of words, what they words originally meant. A lot of people, adults, only have about fifth grade comprehension of education. Reason why we only have this kind of knowledge is because a lot of us don't research on our own. When you go to school, they give you a degree. And they tell you that the Masons have a 33rd degree, 33rd and third degree of knowledge. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad says that the Muslims, when being taught the knowledge itself, will have a 360 degrees of knowledge. But when you are taught the difference between right and wrong, and have a thorough knowledge of yourself, you have 360 degrees of right knowledge and 360 degrees of wrong knowledge. That's when you will have knowledge, the knowledge of God and the knowledge of the devil, otherwise known as Satan. Satan is not one person. Satan is a group of people. And in this world, you can only get that kind of education from the supreme wisdom of Allah in the person of Master Farad. So this transmission is to the lost foundation of Islam, which is all the black people living in the wilderness of America with the names of Caucasian people. All those who are named Cooper, Charles, Lewis, Mr. Roundtree, Mr. Brown, Mr. White. This transmission is for you because you've been taken out of your original natural culture, brought over to America as captive, as prisoners of war, and then made slaves. Not the ordinary slave. What I mean by that is that word slave has different levels of slaves. You got debt slaves, but we, the Asiatic black man that was brought over here in 1555. I know that's a different year than what you're used to hearing, but these are the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. You cannot expose Satan unless you have proper history knowledge, proper knowledge of history of yourself. In doing so, when you have this kind of knowledge and you expose Satan, a lot of Satan's family, be it black or white, some of them don't know themselves that they are Satan or devils. But the learned, wise, the head of Satan and the devils, they know it. But in order to control the black man, he got to keep his own people, his own Caucasians, deaf, dumb, and blind. That's why you got degrees. You got the degrees in scholastic, and you got degrees in different orders, Masonic orders. You got different levels of knowledge and different levels of understanding. So the title of this transmission is Black Light, MOTOWN is Sacred Ground, exposing the devil or Shaitan. And I just gave you different levels of Shaitan. The devil is on a level and Satan is on a level. So you got different degrees right there. What's the difference? Well, the devil is a clinical name, scientific name of one that was grafted, a people that was grafted out of the original Asiatic black man who was God of the universe. These grafted people were sent to the Caucasus Mountain. From that word Caucasus Mountains, you got the word Caucasian. These people are pale people, otherwise known as white people. And when they dwelt in the Caucasus Mountains, they lost knowledge of self. Their culture was a cave-like culture. They lived in trees. They lived in caves. They became so uncivilized that God sent Moses, because he's the God of mercy. And when he seen how they were living, he sent one of his prophets called Musa or Moses to civilize them. And to bring them back. And so he had a hard time doing it. It tells you this in the Bible. It tells you that he gave them 10 commandments, and Moses gave them 10 commandments. He gave them more commandments than that, but they rebelled, started worshiping the golden calf. It tells you that Jesus, well, a whole lot of prophets tried to, in between Moses and Jesus, civilize them. The first to come out the caves, because all Caucasians didn't come out the caves at the same time. But the first who came out the cave were the Greeks. Also known as the Jews. And it tells you that Prophet Jesus, or Isa, which is his proper name, was sent to the Jews to try to civilize them into the laws of Allah. And the Romans was occupying Palestine. And then they tell you that they crucified Jesus. That's what they tell you. But Jesus said they are liars and murderers. They tell you that in the New Testament. You'll find it. And so you can't believe that they crucified. And then they're gonna call him God too. How can you kill God? So we're here to expose that, coming all the way live from the 313 in the lakes, in the woods, known as Detroit, also known as MOTOWN. Also, I'm crowning Detroit for Rod Metro, because this knowledge that I'm spitting out to you came to Detroit in the person of Master Farad Muhammad to raise up the lost found tribe of Shabazz in 1930 with the Nation of Islam in his mind, heart, and soul. Came by himself. Without a guide. He was his own guide. Came to Black Bottom, Detroit. He said that we are living in the day of judgment, the war of Armageddon. In 2024, they say that the citizens that means you, me, the ones that pay taxes, owe trillions of dollars in debt. Now, in my past videos, I mentioned that the Federal Reserve Act was passed in 1914. You had to give up your gold to the Federal Reserve Bank in 1933. Roosevelt signed that order into progress, into action. In 1929, they had the stock market crash. Master Farad Muhammad told the Honorable Elijah Muhammad in the Nation of Islam that the white man's world was up in 1914, but he will get an extension of time. So original Asiatic black man, or the black man once made president of a war, once slave, will have a have to have knowledge of self, thorough knowledge of self. And once you get a thorough knowledge of self, the white man will be destroyed. So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's message was, if you want to be saved from the destruction and from the plagues that it mentions in the Bible, Revelation, if you want to be saved from this, you got to have a thorough knowledge of self, thorough knowledge of the devil, who's your enemy. You got to have knowledge of your enemy. If you don't know who your enemy is, you can't recognize him. How can you defend yourself? So he said, the technique and the methodology for you to hold on to your righteousness, getting unity, and then separate. Don't integrate, separate. But no, y'all ancestors and y'all parents, which is 85% of the deaf, dumb, and blind, did not comprehend the teachings. So Allah is stepping up the plagues. A lot of you are into suffering plagues right now. I remember a time when tornadoes used to just go where the white people was at, seemed like. So y'all gonna move right, y'all wanna move next to the white people. Y'all wanna go out in the suburbs. Y'all wanna go to Beverly Hills. To places where white people trying to keep you away, don't want you to come around, y'all gonna go to them. So what happened in LA? In California, they got fires and it's hot. So y'all gonna go to Texas. What's happening in Texas? You got migrants. Texas is overrunning with migrants, what they call illegal aliens. They got fentanyl they bringing over there. That's a plague. So y'all want to be next to them. Y'all going, instead of building up your own neighborhoods, what y'all call ghetto, white man don't want to be around you, so he built him a town, called it suburbs. Y'all got to go where he at. Instead of building your town up. Y'all be calling it gentrification. And instead of you, especially if the city is more black than white, if the black man is the majority, you should be controlling it. But now you give up, your control. And the only reason why you do this is because you believe in the white man's political system. Because when you were slaves, being misused, abused, and accused of raping white women, all during this time, he was building him a political system, a constitution, pledging allegiance to his constitution. But you was on the slave on the plantation. You was the slaves on the plantation. So you're not taking time out to think. When you read your history books, and even in the Bible, you'll see that the slaves that they were talking about were dead slaves. They kept their names, their culture, and for only slaves for a certain period of time. But you slaves, you were slaves for 400 years physically, but now you're mental a slave. You're mentally a slave. But a lot of us can't see that. We can't see it. Look, you were without education for 300 or 400 years. How many generations is that? And you couldn't talk your own language. Even to this day, you don't know your original language. You don't know your original names. That's got to do something to your mind, to your psyche, and to your self-esteem. Everybody else that come over here, they know their original language. They may not use it, but they know it. They keep their names. Even the African, so-called African that come over here, he knows language. Even though he might be in a French-speaking country. So you got Africans that speak French. Why? Because they was conquered too. But they still have a little bit of their culture in them. But the black man that came over here in 1555, he don't have no remembrance of his ancestors. Then they let you have Black History Month for a month, but they don't teach you no further than when you came over here off the slave ship. And they was reluctant to give you that history. And then they're gonna lie. And you take their word for it. A lot of you never heard of Moors. A lot of you never knew that the Moors were Muslims. That, they had a war called the Crusades. A lot of you don't even know about that war that they had, the Crusades that they had. Y'all don't even know that they ruled Europe. Y'all don't even know what they built in Europe. All the advancements that they gave the European. Because the European or the Caucasian or the devil, when Columbus came over here, he was just not coming out the caves. Remember I told you that the Jews were the first ones come out the cave. They were the smartest and the brightest. The Romans, they came out, but there were still those left up in them caves. And when Columbus came over here, they just coming out the cave, the last remnants of the caveman were just coming out the caves when King James wrote the Bible, his version of the Bible. Y'all don't know that. You wouldn't know it if God, Allah, in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, if he didn't come over here to Detroit 1930, you wouldn't know it. He the one that was setting out this type of knowledge. So when the financial system that was built by the Rothschilds re-exposing the head of the devils, time. That word Satan, according to the teachers of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, means one who has the ability to affect others with his poison disease, his mentality, make him act just like him, like a demon. Yeah, man. So you got behind me, you got the Rothschilds. That's who you owe your money to. That trillions and trillions of dollars worth of debt. Because they own the Federal Reserve Bank. Brothers ain't talking about this. No one is talking about this. Y'all talking about who you gonna vote for. Don't you know that the Rothschilds own Congress? Don't you know that the Rothschilds built Israel? Don't you know that the Rothschilds want to control and own Africa? If you notice that they don't even talk about, you talking about reparations. You got a whole lot of people trying to get reparations. And I'm not saying don't get them, you know. But how you gonna keep on paying taxes? How you gonna keep paying taxes? Trying to get reparations. We should be tax exempt. Now a whole lot of y'all gonna be mad with me, you know. But ain't it true now? Y'all know about the 40 acres and the mule? Like you say, we, you know, forget about it. We ain't gonna get it anyway. No, you ain't gonna get it. But it ain't that you ain't gonna get it. Really, it's how you go about getting it. Now a lot of people say, well, revolution will not be televised. You know, just because they had their revolution war, shooting up people, you know, killing each other up. And some of us was helping them do that. And we was getting killed. You ain't got to do it like that. You know, it's more than one way to skin a cat, man. You know, it's more than one way to skin a cat. For one thing, y'all wanted him to cut you a check. That's crazy. That's crazy right there. You want him to cut you a check, and who owned the money? The Rothschilds. Who print the money up? The Rothschilds. Who bought off the Congress? Who bought off the president? Who could go and buy off leaders of country, kings and queens? How you think they got all their money? So if he print up the money, you know, he owned the courts, he owned the political system, he owned the justice system, he owned the UN. Who you gonna take your case to? All the lawyers, defense lawyers, prosecution lawyers, criminal law, all of them are officers of the court. And he owned the courts. Just like when you look at the Rothschilds, the World Court deemed that the Israel, which was, Israel was built by the Rothschilds. I'm gonna show you where. The reason why I got that, I'm gonna show you out their own mouth where they tell you who made Israel. See, the Jew, the first to come out the cave, he was so wise and intelligent that they outcast him. They made him second-class niggers. But you can't tell the difference between a Jew and any other white person except by their names. Bernstein, Goldstein, all of them got that steen on the end because they're from Europe. Anyway, I'm gonna show you a little in a few minutes. Just stay with me because I gotta build this up so you can recognize. You gotta be able to recognize game when you see it. Now a lot of y'all, probably in the chat room or tripping just because y'all don't know it. I was watching Sinetta. Now Sinetta, he remind me, it's a whole lot of brothers. I'm gonna give you an example. It's a whole lot of brothers that start off strong and end up weak and end up selling out. A lot of them you use as your idol. So let's for one thing, I'm gonna go straight to Malcolm. A lot of brothers still give Malcolm a whole lot of credit. Brothers say he started 42 temples and something like that. But how you gonna, just because you got set down, silence, and you call a white man a devil, blue-eyed dog, you call him all kind of names, insult him, and then you get mad at your teacher, and then go straight to the white man's broadcasting system and talk against your teacher. Now you went to your enemy. You went to your enemy, man. Something wrong with that picture. And Sinetta, when he first came out with knowledge. He had all kind of photos teaching. He was teaching strong, man. Now he got brothers arguing with each other. And those brothers, you know, most of them use the white man's teachings. That's opposite. That's against us. That's against each other. You got Al Sharpton. He started off one way, end up joining the white man's system. Jesse Jackson. You know, a whole lot of brothers trying to get with the system that the white man built. He didn't build it for you. He wanted to keep you a slave so he could control, so he could, you know, he could control you. Y'all in debt right now. Even the ones with money. Even your rich millionaires, black millionaires, you in debt. Because that money that you borrow the federal dollar is a debt dollar. That's why you owe trillions and trillions of dollars in debt. And then you're in a dictatorship. You see, now it's a democratic. No, that's what Democrat mean. It's a sneaky dictator. That's all it is. He use proxies. You say, no, he don't. Yes, he do. Why you just take your money and send it to Ukraine, send it to Israel. So that's dictatorship, man. He didn't tell you. So let's go. Let's go right here. This coming straight out the horse's mouth.
Backroom deals, betrayal, and a war that's lasted almost 100 years. This is what happened when the richest family in the world decided to create their own country. In 1917, the Rothschilds, the trillion-dollar family that invented modern-day banking, used their money, power, and influence to strike a secret deal with the British government. That deal eventually led to the creation of the country of Israel. But what makes this story more bizarre is the crazy personality of the man who orchestrated this deal, Lord Walter Rothschild. Walter Rothschild was an enigmatic mega-billionaire with so much money that instead of using horses to pull his carriage, he imported zebras from Africa just to show off. This same billionaire also had a super weird hobby of gathering insects and bugs, eventually amassing over 1 million butterflies, moths, and other insects. The Jews are some of the most intelligent, industrious people in the world. However, for years, the millions of Jews scattered around Europe have been trying to secure a large piece of land to start the country of Israel. But no matter how hard they tried, they got nothing. That was until they linked up with the super-rich Walter Rothschild, a man who could change the world with the snap of his finger. By the early 1900s, the Rothschilds were already the most powerful family in Europe. They were so wealthy that they had even given loans to the entire country of France to stabilize the economy. However, aside from their power, the Rothschilds also had a reputation for being extremely ruthless. They wouldn't hesitate to wield their power as a weapon, to bulldoze through their enemies and crush anyone who opposed them. If the Rothschilds wanted something, they better get it, or they'd be held to pay. Walter Rothschild made the calls he needed to make, pulled the strings he needed to pull, and in 1917, the British government sent Walter an official letter promising to do everything within their power to provide land for the creation of Israel. That letter redesigned the map of the world, and if you need proof, we have a copy of that letter.
November the 2nd, 1917. Dear Lord Rothschild, I have much pleasure in conveying to you, on behalf of His Majesty's government, the following declaration of sympathy with Jewish Zionist aspirations, which has been submitted to and approved by the Cabinet.
So it's possibly the most famous letter in modern Jewish history, and it begins with 3 words: Dear Lord Rothschild.
That letter, nicknamed the Balfour Declaration, is proof that it was the Rothschild family that created Israel. But there's even more evidence. In this interview, the head of the Rothschild family proudly explains how his ancestors created Israel. The interviewer begins by asking the question that was on everyone's mind.
Why was it that this letter was sent by the Foreign Secretary to your great-uncle Walter?
The reason is obvious, because it was the Rothschilds' money, power, and influence that made the British government fall in line. Years later, Britain kept their promise to the Rothschilds and provided a large piece of land to start Israel. And in May 1948, the State of Israel was officially created. Although this was good news, the Rothschilds were just getting started. What the Rothschilds did next was even more impressive. They invested millions of dollars into Israel, building schools, roads, and everything needed to turn that piece of land into a beautiful country. James Rothschild single-handedly paid for Israel's Congress building, while Dorothy D. Rothschild paid for Israel's Supreme Court building. However, the more money the Rothschilds spent, the more problems they created. Why? Because the land the British gave to Israel actually belonged to another group of people called the Palestinians. And that land dispute sparked the series of conflicts between Israelis and Palestinians that's gone on for decades. But we're not here to talk about the war. We're talking about power, specifically the power of the Rothschild dynasty. Whatever you've heard about how powerful the Rothschilds are is nothing compared to the true scale of their influence. YouTube has dozens of videos about the Rothschilds, but this one is different. Because instead of merely talking about the Rothschilds, we'll sift through centuries of history to reveal 5 times the Rothschild family used money, violence, and power to reshape reality and mold the world in their own image. Starting with the time when the Rothschilds invented the banking industry.
Let's pause it right there. Now, a lot of y'all, my people, you probably got some white people that's watching this, because this particular video that I'm showing, it got over 1 million views. But I can bet you that the majority of those views are Caucasians or white people. Because my people, they're more interested in Puff Daddy, they think, my people think small. That's because, we were 400 years under their whip. And we were whipped out of our minds. got low self-esteem. So when Allah came in the person of Master Farah Muhammad told you you were the gods, y'all rejected it. You're rejecting it now. Because it's a whole lot of responsibility to be God or yourself. That means you got to be in control of yourself. That means that you got to love your people, love yourself. And so you got to put the blame on something outside of yourself. So you don't want to think that God is from within and then out. It's in and then out. Y'all want to say it's out, then in. You say God come into you. You don't never say God come out of me. Let the God come out of me. You're always praying, God come into me. And most of y'all think that the white man is God. No, the white man is Satan. This is a scientific fact. And he'll tell you that he's the devil. The smart ones do. The smart ones know. The ignorant ones, they don't know. But he said, why he exposing this now? Because they know there ain't nothing you can do about it. Just like the World Court said that Israel was doing war crimes. What they do about it? Nothing. You don't even hear about the World Court no more. You know? You can't do nothing about it. You can march, you can protest, but they're killing them Palestinians up every day. Man, woman, and child. And you can't do nothing about it. The only thing y'all worried about is can you pay that note and that gas bill? But they're telling you who controlled everything. And the only way, you say, well, I don't want to bite the hand that feed me. But the only way that you can beat Satan you got to love yourself first. We don't love ourselves. That's why you think we go out and get drunk, get high, smoke herb all the time. We're trying to drown out the pain, man, because we don't know what to do. And when somebody come and tell you what to do and shows you the power of his wisdom through the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad only had a 3rd grade education. When he got through in 1974, they made a Savior's Day 1974. You could go on, get it right online. He had 100 and, what they say in 1975, he had missed $175 million. Something like that, He had farms all over. He had farms, Michigan farms all over the place. He had banks. I mean, it belonged not to him, but to the Nation of Islam. I mean, I could go on and on. He had airplanes. He had boats. He got brothers off of drugs. brothers off of alcohol, how to eat to live. I don't want to keep on going over that because you can get all that online. But reason why I'm coming to you right now is because Allah is putting before you the weakness of the Caucasian. Because they talking about what the Rothschilds own. They can't own nothing. It's an illusion. They just came on the planet, the white man just came on the planet 6,000 years ago. But the black man always been here. Y'all don't want to believe it. But he did. Always been here. And the black man, or the rich initiated black man, consists of, these are the different nations that come out the black man. Black, brown, red, and yellow. That's melanin. Different degrees of melanin. Then you got the white man, but who don't have no melanin, who have less melanin than the rest I just named. Pale face, forked tongue, weak bone, white man, Satan. So now Trump already pledged his allegiance to Israel. Now Biden just got through announcing that Israel committed a war crime. But what is he doing about it? He just said that because he's running for president. And we got a whole lot of Arabs up here in Detroit and Michigan, Dearborn, Hamtramck. See, because the Chaldean and the Arabs are some, they say they're Muslims, but they over here, instead of being in they land trying to keep their land straight, they over here oppressing the black man. Y'all say, y'all don't believe it? Y'all don't believe he oppressing? He in every neighborhood, every black neighborhood. He using the Rothschilds banking system, charging interest. And the Bible's got usury. That word interest and usury is the same. When God told him you aren't supposed to do that. Now they mad because they got double crossed by the American government. See, he brought Uncle Sam brought, or Rothschild brought the Arabs over here, because the Jews used to run the neighborhoods. So I'm gonna use Detroit as an example. 1967, we had the so-called riots. The Jews was running the ghetto from us, and we scared them. Because Detroit, the brothers over here crazy, So we ran them out of town. That was the first time we ran them out of town. Now, they just not coming back. But they put the Arabs up where the stores used to be, supermarkets used to be. They put the Arabs there. They were like our gatekeepers. Yeah. And see, these Arabs that's up here, they don't like a Muslim government. See, a Muslim government, you got to dress a certain way. The women got to dress with long dresses, hijabs or headpiece. And a lot of them didn't want to do that. A lot of them want to party. You'll see a whole lot of Arabs partying harder than you, but they got their own special spot where they go to party at. You know, a lot of them getting high. A lot of them playing the lotto. Let you play the lotto. You know, there's no gambling in the Quran. Said no gambling. See, now a lot of them gonna be mad at me. Y'all know I'm telling the truth. Instead of y'all coming up here getting with the brother, getting with the black people, y'all just took the place of the Jews. I know y'all charge usury. One time I had a landlord. He was an Egyptian, you know. He come from ain't Egypt. Egypt is in Africa. But when you go over there, you know, you don't see the black brothers over there that much. They over there, but you don't see them. They don't put them on TV. They don't put the black brothers on TV. They don't put the black Palestinians on TV. They don't put the black Iranians on TV. They don't put the black Iraqis on TV. You don't see that. But they over there. They still over there. You don't see no black Iraqis that came up here. You only see them pale Arabs up here in Dearborn. Then you got our brothers trying to act like them. But the Jews used to run the neighborhoods. And the gangsters, the mafia. And the Jews and the Italians, the one that they say crucified Jesus. Why black people don't talk like I'm talking? Why black people? Now they might not show this video. They might get me for copyright, you know. Some brothers gonna be saying, some people gonna be saying this is hate teaching, you know. But this are facts. You ain't even gotta go to no history book to see what I'm saying. You can get everything I'm saying in the archives, the videos, in the newspapers, you know. So you could protest they could demonstrate, protest all they want. There ain't nothing gonna happen. They still gonna be killing the Palestinians over there. But a lot of that showing the black men over here that it could happen to us. Because we can't protect our women and children. We couldn't protect them during slavery. He could come in and rape our women. And he could come and do it again if he wants to. You don't think that you are a nation. You are the black nation, the first man on the planet, in the universe. So how can you escape from what's getting ready to happen to you? Because there's all kind of signs that's showing you that it's not your regular day. It's not a regular day, no, not no more. Something gonna happen. Something gonna happen to either Biden or Trump. But the Rothschilds and the Rothschilds circle control the politicians. Now, if you don't, if y'all don't unite, you know, just some kind of way you got to unite. Now, let me tell you this right here. You ever thought about how much money the church run through the churches, right? Okay, let's forget about the churches. What about the organizations like the Urban League, like NAACP, like the Nation of Islam, like I can't name them all right now. Freedom, the net, Al Sharpton's net, what do you call it? The network, the Al Sharpton got an organization. Jesse Jackson got an organization. How much money is running through them, and how much money that Hollywood, that the brothers in Hollywood and in the entertainment world and in the sports world, how much money running through their hands? How much money running through the black doctor's hand? How much money running through the whole medical industry that black people are part of? What about the drug lords? How much they be making? Millions of dollars a day, $1 million a week. How much money I mean, we got black people in every kind of avenue that it is making money. They give it right back to the white man, though. They give it right back to the white man, trying to show off. They want to be the slickest nigga in the world, trying to show off. Those entertainers are always complaining. Those actors are always complaining about Hollywood, about how the white people doing, how the white people write the shows. We still don't have enough producers. We still don't have enough this and that. What about law enforcement? How many brothers we got in the law fields? We got enough, man. We got enough. If you gather up all what I just mentioned, and we all unite and pull our monies together and keep the money in our neighborhood 10 times, we'll be controlling this. Even though the Rothschilds and them printed up. And if you follow the leader, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he didn't get his money from the white man. He got his money from the brothers overseas, Gaddafi. That's why they killed Gaddafi. One of the reasons why they killed him. There's a whole lot of brothers over there know about Honorable Elijah Muhammad's program. He was going over there with the boats and getting tons and tons of fish. It's all about how you control yourself, man. If you want somebody else to control you, right on for you, brother. But I don't want nobody. But if I ain't, I'm just one man walking alone. If I don't want them to control me, control my neighborhood, my neighborhood got to be down with me. You know, like the gangs, man. Let's take the Bloods and the Crips. The Bloods and the Crips, instead of them uniting, controlling everything in their neighborhood. Like when you go over here in Dearborn, in the Arab community, they done took over Dearborn. Even the Chaldeans, they don't consider themselves the same as the Muslims. But you don't find them killing up each other. You don't never hear about them killing up each other like they do, like the Bloods and the Crips. They pull together, man. Why we can't do it? Because it's gonna get worse, man. Ain't nothing gonna change. No matter who you vote for, you can vote for Biden, you can vote for Trump. It's gonna get worse. So we gonna pick up, you know, at a later date. I'm just gonna let you see a little bit more on how slick Satan is.
The history that we have today, and the way they did it is more brutal than you can imagine. The Rothschilds didn't get into banking because they wanted to make the world a better place. They did it because they wanted power. And this thirst for power started in 1744 with Mayer Amschel Rothschild. From a young age, Mayer lived by the code that money is power. But even though he needed money to get power, Mayer was born to a middle-income family living in the ghettos of Frankfurt. However, Mayer had a plan to go from rags to riches. As a young man, he began a money-lending business. He started with a small amount and gradually grew his capital. Though this sounds pretty straightforward, the big problem with money lending is that people sometimes don't pay back what they borrow. But Mayer was a hard man, and he did whatever was necessary to get his loans paid with interest. Even from a young age, he developed a reputation as someone you shouldn't mess with. Mayer also maneuvered himself to become the personal banker of members of the German royal family. Over time, Mayer's small money lending and exchange business ballooned into a successful financial institution. But despite all his success, Mayer knew that there was one enemy that could destroy everything he had built. And that enemy was time. As Mayer grew old, he taught his financial skills to his 5 sons. More importantly, he also taught them that success isn't only based on their ability to manage money, but also to manipulate people and situations to their advantage. The game of money is deadly, and Mayer taught his sons to be more brutal than anyone they faced. After teaching them everything he knew, Mayer sent his 5 sons, Amschel, Solomon, Nathan, Karl, and Jacob, to different parts of Europe to dominate the banking sector. He figured if a Rothschild controlled the flow of money in the different parts of Europe, then the Rothschilds would be the most powerful family in Europe.
We're going to keep it right there and close this transmission down, this section down. And I want all the brothers and sisters to know this, that I am an FOI soldier in the Nation of Islam. My duty is to unite my people, black people, and protect the women and children of my nation. I will perform my duty faithfully regardless to whom or what. My life and my death are all for Allah. I will be loyal and obedient to the supreme being Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, to MOTOWN, the sacred ground of MOTOWN. To him and him alone, I submit my will to do the will of the Lord of all the worlds. Assalamu alaikum.